this was kind of what inspired. This was an older tweet, but I kind of ran out of time last week, and I wanted to give it more. Wanted to talk about boss battles last week, but this week I want to go into this. This is from Sid Alpha, kind of a game critic I follow. I swear game devs and journos hated Lauren's BG3 for setting a new bar that no one could ever hope to match. Thing is, all it requires is competence, but they don't want you to know that. They would rather praise it for letting them fuck a bear at the same time, telling you that it is an impossible to repeat anomaly, where it could very easily be the standard if generalized game development actually cared about their art half as much as they care about their activism. And he then goes on to give an example. A case in point, Concerned Ape and Stardew Valley. One dude made that game, and he made it awesome within its genre. Because he was competent and cared about his game, he showed passion. Show me any AAA that even approaches 1/10 that kind of passion, which is true. I don't think a single AAA studio does do that. But what I wanted to go into, I wanted to add on to that and show you some examples of games that are also made by small teams that are incredibly good. This is Blue Revolver. This is a game that's over 8 years old, and it just had an update recently. I've talked about it on some other streams. But this is a game made by essentially a very small team. I think it's really just like two people mainly. One did the art and the other did the programming. And what they did is they got together to make one of the SMUPs that are really, and this is the credits, one of the SMUPs that is really kind of regarded as one of the best in the genre in a modern age. And for it to be made by, let's see, as you can see, like design was done by Danbo, art direction was by Wolf, and really just beyond that is like background art, a credit for background art, a credit for sound, music. There's 4 people that did the music, and then you have some people for voice acting, mastering, remixes, like the gallery art, translation, and then a bunch of beta testers. So, I mean, 62 people, but in their credits, actually 67 if you count, some of the libraries and stuff. But this is essentially what it was, like 2 people doing the majority of the heavy lifting, one guy doing all the design and code for it. So it's just another example of just passionate people, again, making one of the top games of the genre. This is Freedom Planet 2, but I was specifically Freedom Planet 1 was designed by a very small team of people. Sonic hasn't really, especially from a 2-dimensional thing, has not been a thing for a long time. And it's amazing to see somebody just come up with a fresh take on it by adding some combat into it, making it its own game. But the physics themselves of this 2-dimensional game is really solid and gives it a great feeling that really Sega team with a giant team of people, a ton of money, have not been able to match. I mean, you look at this, the character design was done by 2 people, some music, some sound design, programming done by only 6 people. Artwork is, again, like 5. And I think, Sabrina Strife was a tranny. But, even trannies can make good games. The Troons can make good art. And this is an example like where it hasn't been self-inserted 5,000 times. I mean, who would have thought that the furry game had some sort of deviancy in it? But I mean, look, that Sabrina Strife is here, and basically almost every single credit here for music, character design, programming, artwork. Really, the sort of driver behind this is one passionate guy that has a small team of people that was able to make one of the better 2D platformers I played in a long time. Maybe one of the best ones I played in recent memory. And of course, we have the GOAT, Minecraft here. There's me on the Minosphere. I mean, this is, again, a game that is, I think, the best-selling game of all time. In Minecraft, that just became an absolute phenomenon. And really, this began with one person which is Notch. Notch essentially started making this game. He kind of beta tested it. And what's crazy, as I've concluded in the screenshot here, is inspired by games like Dwarf Fortress. So let me go back a little bit. So this is Dwarf Fortress. This is a game made by 2 people, entirely subsisting on donations. This is Infominer, another game made by 2 people. As you can see, Notch borrowed heavily from this game to sort of get his. This was the inspiration for the direction he wanted. He ended up taking the sort of look and I guess the voxel-based design of Minecraft. Again, another project made by 2 people. So it's, 2 people inspiring 2 other people, inspiring 2 other people. This is the credits from the 2010 Windows. It includes 25 people with 24 credits. You can see Marcus Persson created it. You had Jens and Nathan Adams, the game design, the programming. Again, just 4 people programming this game. Graphics, again, 3 people. Basically, Marcus Persson with Jens, I think is the correct pronunciation, and Nathan Adams doing so much of this. Music and sound, Daniel Rosenfield, which is, I believe, is C9, C418. The people that he did all the Minecraft music. He's very, very well known. Of course, the Minecraft music is iconic. And then some in-game artwork. The in-game narrative was the poem. And then, some website design and the promotional artwork, director of fun. But just a really small team, and really just the core of Notch and 2 other people really pushing this project, which ended up becoming the best-selling game of all time, just becoming its own thing. Here is Lethal Company, a game made by 1 person, Zeekers, who started out doing mods for Roblox. That's where he started his sort of game design or programming, whatever you want to call it, doing Roblox maps, and then ended up becoming this game at one point was outselling Call of Duty Black Ops, or had more concurrent players in Call of Duty at one point. Just became, a super success, kind of like a super popular streamer game that reached, some sort of cultural phenomenon. And of course, you look at the credits here, game by Zeekers, the only guy that did it. And then thanks for help shaping the game. And he has a bunch of thanks here for people that helped him out. Patrons that helped support his game are here in the credits. Different people that helped with the stuff little projects along the way, like the shovel, the sound effects, all sorts of credits, for stuff that he had to borrow. And it's nothing. None of this stuff is particularly mind blowing in terms of quality, but just absolutely phenomenal. It came the gameplay itself was what really set it apart, and the fun you can have playing it. This is Gunvein, a game made by a small team. I just end up once seeing this. It's just a phenomenal, shoot 'em up. Really solid graphics and bullet design. The whole thing is very solid. I really enjoyed it. And if you look here, the credits, 1 guy did all the programming, some art design, extra game work. Again, the programming, music. You could see just 2 or 3 people, some extra art. There's 6 people there. The beta testers are probably bigger than the entire team that made it. And then, just a really small team of people that created it and played it. And this is Toho. And this actually isn't a game made by the person that made this game is Zune, but the game that showed off right now isn't made by Zune. It's a remake of his game, Perfect Cherry Blossom. But this was sort of remade by a Chinese team. That the thing is, with Zun, he is very liberal about the sort of trademarks to his game, the copyrights to his game. So people are constantly making different fan games and different little like projects, especially when it comes to artwork. There's like a million derivative projects on it because it's just they like the characters. I guess the game itself, actually, probably the characters are more popular than the game itself at this point. It's pretty amazing to see. But this is a game that just sort of became, I think, actually maybe might have popularized this sort of like bullet hell aesthetic in video games. It's probably one of the, in terms of like current era shoot 'em ups, probably one of the most recognizable and most important. But again, the entire Touhou series is made by one guy who does the artwork, the programming, the music. All of it is done by one person, and he's made up like over like 20 plus games, I think, at this point, that end up spawning other people to make games, spawning teams like this to sort of remaster it. Because I mean, while Zun is pretty good at what he does, I think the artwork that he comes is a little bit lacking. He's not the world's best artist. I think he does pretty well in the music department, but like even having like a bigger team with like multiple talented people kind of remaking the game is a pretty cool thing. And the fact that he allows that is actually even cooler. I mean, this whole idea of what he does with allowing people to like take his creations and run with it, that help inspire even more games and more creations. So it's like passion sort of creates more passion. In fact, if you're familiar with a game called Undertale, Toby Fox, the creator of it, listed Zone as one of his inspirations for the music of Undertale, which ended up becoming like another like kind of like cult classic video game. So as you saw with like Notch, getting inspiration from like Dwarf Fortress and Infominer, other indie creators are inspired by other small games or like sometimes bigger games, and it helps each other sort of create as they borrow different ideas and make something completely new with it. So this is just another like great example of how despite the problems with the video game industry, with everything's a remake, everything's derivative, it's all this AAA slop that is being shown off nowadays, there still is people making some really phenomenal games, people that are still really passionate about video games, that do it because they love games, and they end up making games that are phenomenal. They're not some sort of medium for them to spread activism. They just want to make fun games, and they do, and they succeed. And these are, I don't know how rare these cases are, but it's still inspiring to see what they can make. And again, what also that they end up spawning as a result of making these games. It's very, very cool to see. There is so that again, this is super inspiring. Though I did for good morning, Deborah. Good morning, King Trustich. It's good to see you. But I did want to show you some other examples. Let me take a drink first. Here's the alternative. I showed you the 2010 Minecraft credits. Let me show you the current credits. That was like around like 30 people, but in reality, it's probably like 5 or 6 that did the majority of the work. Let me just kind of scroll through the credits here of current Minecraft credits. I'm not going to read anything particular because it would take me an hour, but this is who they're listing for credits now in Minecraft. We'll just keep scrolling. We're about halfway there at this point. We're getting there. Don't worry, we're getting there. Any minute now, we're going to get to the end. I think I might have listed like every like single person that's ever worked on this game in like the 20. How old is Minecraft now? 2010. It's at least 15 years. Yeah, it just celebrated its 15-year anniversary. Yeah, I think they've listed everyone that's ever worked on the game tangentially in the entire industry. But this is how many people are involved in Minecraft at this point. Has it just sort of become this giant behemoth, billion-dollar IP? It's just crazy to see what sort of came from just a small team of a handful of people, really pushed forward by one single person who ended up becoming a billionaire because of the game. So it's the story of Minecraft is pretty wild. And, I'm glad Notch did it. Minecraft is an amazing game. Still, even now. Oh God, this is amazing. This is amazing. So this is the credits for Diablo 4, which I like the game. I don't have a problem with it, but this number here is absolutely mind-blowing. Well, look at this number. He's a little congested. 9,225 people. And 8,750 professional roles and 475 thanks. Almost 10,000 people in the credits. How is it even possible? Even if we look at the slightly under 9,000 people, how is this even possible? That almost 9,000 people were involved in this game. This is insane. The bloat that is in AAA video games right now is insane. Are you telling me that there was 9,000 people needed to make this game? Absolutely crazy. You just look at these like characters, exteriors. How do you even have a cohesive vision when you have this many people involved? I mean, additional art, additional design, additional engineering, team analysts. What the heck? Engineering. Oh my God. They list the customer service teams. It's just, holy smokes. This is just outrageous. Blizzard Animation / artists. It's like movie credits. But I guess that Activision Blizzard Esports. I'm glad they listed that. Blizzard Development Family. Oh, wow. That's great. I don't know what a professional role is. Probably, it's got to be a pretty loose term. Probably not guys writing code. And this is Concord, a very successful game from Fireworks Studios. It had 1,972 people involved in that. And look how well it turned out. I think every game, well, maybe not every game I listed had more sales, but I don't think a single one of them cost over $200 million, probably close to $400 million to make, and ended up being one of the biggest flops of all time. Maybe the biggest flop of all time. 1,972 people. This was from Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, this was even bigger. A game that, if you recall, last week I was making fun of because it was sold on a Steam sale for like $3.50, and people were giving it out as a joke gift to troll other people. This took about 10 years to make and had 3,481 people working on it. And now it's sold for $3.50. And people are giving it away as a joke. Just amazing. So, man, you don't underestimate the small teams of people with making passionate projects. That the real art is being made here in this arena, it seems. While these super bloated, which I mean, Diablo 4, again, not a bad game, but I just included it because it just has the most outrageous amount of people listed on its credits that I've ever seen. But I mean, like Concord, absolute failure. 2,000 people involved in it. Almost 2,000 people. Suicide Squad, over 3,000 people involved. Absolute flop. Absolute flop. Sort of full of trash, uninspired garbage. You have this many people. And it feels like at some point you just lose the plot when you have this many people working on it. There's no cohesive vision, no strong presence. I don't know, but this is again, it's good to see. There's still, despite like all of like these failures and flops, there's still plenty of people making really good games, involved with passionate projects. Like I mentioned here in the beginning, this guy Dan Burrow, who made Blue Revolver. This game was released 8 years ago, and he just put out an update 8 years after, just because he wanted to. I don't think it'd be financially successful. Maybe it was, maybe not. Like a refresh to get more sales, but he did it because he wanted his game to be the best it could be, and that's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing to see that. So there's still, it's like kind of like, I meant to be uplifting. Uplifting story of people that are still making games with a passion that are really fun to play and beautiful, and actually in a lot of ways far cheaper